morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to finally start the long-awaited 7th Annual East African Finance Summit. We have 2 days of packed program with distinguished speakers, panelists, and of course, our wonderful facilitators right here. If you want to know more information, I welcome you to scan the QR code behind the event brochure and you will have all the information you want. And this event would not have been possible without our strategic partners, Ethio Telecom, Telebir, Ethiopian Capital Market Authority, FSD Ethiopia, our sponsors, platinum sponsors, ET Switch, gold sponsor, Hibret Bank, silver sponsor, Reinsurance and ACCA, and working diligently for the last couple of months, the organizers, the iCapital Africa Institute, Association of Ethiopian Insurance, Addis Ababa University, and Nairobi Security Exchange are very, very pleased to see you all here. Without further ado, kindly put your hands together for the welcoming notes from the CEO of iCapital Africa Institute, Dr. Gemechu Waktola.
እንደምን አደራችሁ? It's a room full of people. Your Excellency, Ato Mamo Mehretu, the Governor of the National Bank of Ethiopia, and our today's guest of honor, esteemed guests, industry leaders, speakers, delegates, and participants of the 7th East Africa Finance Summit. I would like to say good morning to everyone. Almost 9 years ago, you may be wondering why 9 years ago, but at the same time it's the 7th East African Finance Summit. That was on December 14, 2016. I stood on before a gathering of over 250 people, individuals at the UN ECA, UN Economic Commission of Africa, to extend our warm welcome to the inaugural participants of the first East Africa Finance Summit. As you can see it here, probably I was much younger back then, but today I'm also here to say welcome to you to more than 450, I think it's close to 500 people in this room, and I would like to say welcome to you. So since that momentous occasion of the first East African Finance Summit, we have continuously convened and gathered every year except 2020 up to 2021 because of COVID-19, when we were not able to gather and come together to discuss issues of the finance sector. But we have done since then, and all the discussions we made were very much fruitful, and it was very engaging. And panelists, issues of the finance sector that we thought were critical were deliberated since then. So as the dynamics of East Africa's finance sector, not only East Africa, particularly in the global arena as well, continue to evolve, so too have the topics of our discussions. They have evolved over time. In the early years of our discussion and debates, which centered around critical issues such as, I would like to mention some of them so that you can see how our discussions have been evolving since we started. And we had a debate around the imperative for Ethiopia's to establish a capital market back then. If you remember, we had a very hard conversation. And some have said on those platforms, and some of you are here to witness that very heavy debate and conversations back then. And Ethiopia is not ready for capital market was one of the categories of the debate. And the other one was Ethiopia needs a capital market, and it needs it now. And imagine today, here, the 7th East Africa Finance Summit, what are we talking about? We are talking about how do we build a capital market ecosystem, and how do you utilize the opportunities, and what are going to be our roles as individual institutions and as a country. So that has evolved. Again, not only that, just to recollect some of the issues we talked, balancing, what's the balance between regulation and innovation was one of the things we talked. And you remember again the heated debate that took place on this very platform, which one comes first? Is it regulation or innovation? And those who said innovation should come first, regulation should come first, they said, how do we let the unknowns open in the market and take the risk of uncertainties? And the others said, oh, if you say regulation should come first, the innovative side said, oh, how do you even regulate something you don't know? Because innovation comes up with, something we don't know. And then the balance was the discussion. And today, the conversation has changed. And and today the conversation is about, the regulatory sandbox where innovation can be, allowed to boom. And the other thing is we also discussed on the topic of calls for regulatory independence, particularly for the insurance sector. And the debate was, just to give you a quick insight, the debate was the insurance sector contributes less than 1% at that time to the GDP because it was not in the hands of the right regulator, which is supposed to be independent. And now today the conversation is different because it already has a green light to have an independent regulation. But the question we're asking today is, what should it look like? How does it work for everyone? How do we make it vibrant? Is the regional collaboration has been highlighted. Ethiopia is a closed market, and we need more opening. That was the conversation we had at the early phases. And today we're talking about, the sector is about to open up. It's almost opening up. So what's going to be our role? How do we play? What's the right partnership? What kind of model should we follow? These are the conversations. So now, Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, now the evolution of the summit is not only in terms of the issues of discussion like I highlighted, but also in terms of profiles of guests, speakers, and delegates. Today, we have more regulators' involvement. The more CEOs are engaging not only in attending this platform, but also in terms of contributing and driving the conversation in their own finance sector. We have speakers, we have various delegates. So not only that, but also our previous summits were mostly organized by local partners and collaborators. Today, we have the participation of the Nairobi Securities Exchange, which are our colleagues and friends and collaborators, and who are happy to be here. Particularly, I see some of the delegates in front of me here who are our co-organizers. So this underscores, I would like to say, our commitment to fostering partnership and collaboration across the region. And I would like to mention that it's just beginning to happen. Not only that, I wish we have the screen on. Our logos even have changed. If you have noticed, it would be funny, the logos that we had at first. Now we have a better logo and branding for the summit. So things are changing and evolving. However, amidst all these changes, our vision remains the same and steadfast. And what's the vision? The vision for the East Africa Finance Summit is to actively contribute to the shaping of the robust finance sector ecosystem. That's the vision we are sticking to. How do we like to do that? We like to do that, and we aspire to achieve this by providing a sustainable platform where key stakeholders convene to scrutinize policies and practices in light of global dynamism. That's how we like to stick to our vision and achieve it. So we are aware that there are different platforms that take place at different times on Africa's financial sector. However, we have tried to do our reviews, and that shows that they are either organized outside of Africa to talk about Africa's agenda, and at times in Africa, they're organized in Africa, but if you track down, their bases are outside of Africa. And there are still some few based in Africa that talk about Africa's finance sector priorities. So this platform is on our own priorities, on our own agenda, and on our own collaborative issues. That's what we are trying to build. Our aspiration is that we build a sustainable platform of our own that brings Africans and friends of Africa together, like we are just doing, to discuss and exchange our key priorities of our financial sector and economic development. In this regard, this platform was started as an East Africa Finance Summit, but soon shall grow and expand to embrace and engage countries from other regions of the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, this year we gather under the theme of unlocking, is it here? So this is how the logo moved. I think we have better logo and branding this time for the summit. But the question mark, you never know. We might, like I said, we can make it go out of East Africa and cover Pan-African. And the seventh one, we have chosen this theme for the conversation today, where when we start this summit, because we chose this because the financial system is undergoing fast and continuous change, not only globally, but also locally, to the extent that we get surprised and we start thinking, how are we going to catch up? Things are changing very quick. Those are the exact questions about to ask. We're here. Due to various global and regional forces, as much as these dynamisms come with enormous challenge, of course, but also they come with unprecedented opportunities. So the future is in the making as we gather to discuss about it here. As an all-time management guru, Peter Drucker, mentioned it, and you see it at the bottom. He said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. And therefore, so, can we create a future for East Africa's finance sector? That we are gathered here to predict together. Ladies and gentlemen, as we convene for the seventh time, we extend our heartfelt gratitude for the unwavering support and encouragement we have received over the years. This summit is a result of collaborative effort and co-organized by Yaya Capital Africa Institute, Addis Ababa University, Association of Ethiopian Insurers, and Nairobi Securities Exchange. And I believe next ones will be joined by Ethiopian Bankers Association, as we have the chairperson of the board amongst us. So the Capital Africa Institute and Nairobi Securities Exchange are already strong partners. Beyond co-organizing this summit, they are already contributing by helping the development of capital market ecosystem through capacity building programs, including providing practical exposures in our neighboring country, Kenya, for Ethiopian banks and insurances. We are very proud about that. So far, over 100 delegates of board directors and executives from Ethiopian banks have visited capital market institutions in Kenya, interacted with the fellow bank leaders and capital market leaders, and got exposed to witness firsthand how Kenya's capital market operates and flourishes. In addition to our esteemed co-organizers for this 7th East Africa Finance Summit, we are honored to forge strategic partnership with Ethio Telecom, Telebir, the Ethiopian Capital Market Authority, FSD Ethiopia, and the Commercial Bank of Ethiopia. I would like also to appreciate our sponsors, including Itswitch, Platinum, Hebret Bank, Gold, Ethio-Re, and ECCA Silver status sponsorship. We are also privileged to welcome an impressive lineup of speakers from both local and international arena. Over the next 2 days, we will engage in insightful discussions, thought-provoking conversations, presentations, and interactive sessions that delve into the core issues shaping the future of finance in our region. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as a host country, best known for its welcoming tradition, please allow me to welcome our neighbors, brothers and sisters who have joined us for this unique gathering. Allow me to acknowledge the presence of leaders and representatives from Nairobi Securities Exchange, Trade and Development Bank, FIDA Investment Bank, Scribe, registrars, Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Bankers, KASIP, Real Estate Investment Trust Association of Kenya, Sterling Capital, Olympia Capital, Trans-Century PLC, AIB, Axis Africa, African Reinsurance Corporation. Would you please give a round of applause to welcome them? Thank you very much. Using this opportunity, I would like to announce that in the next few months, we plan to organize a roadshow in Addis Ababa in partnership with NSE, Nairobi Securities Exchange, Kenyan Association of Stockbrokers, Investment Banks, and Forge Partnership. And finally, as the chairperson of the coordination committee for the summit, it is with great pleasure and honor that I extend warm welcome to each and every one of you to the 7th Annual East Africa Finance Summit. Welcome to the vibrant city of Addis Ababa for our guests. Thank you very much. Appreciate for your questions.